Welcome to the 90-day HeartMate Consciousness Experiment. We're going to wait a few minutes here to allow a few more people to jump into the call. Let me get something squared away here. Where is... Okay, so let's see if we can see this. I think I need to move it more. In this direction. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's 3 minutes past the hour. We're going to give people a few more minutes before we actually get started with our 90-day HeartMate Coherence Experiment. I want to say thank you to you all. If you would mind, just go ahead and go into the chat and please write in the chat your name and what city, state, and or country you're from. Okay, we've got another person joining us. And so I also want to say thank you to David, Terry, Claudia, and we now have Sean that's just joined us today. We should have a few more people. It looks like we've got another person, Terry Huber, who okay, Terry's here too. Let's see. There we go. I don't know if I can get one of you guys to be my volunteer to help take down some notes during this broadcast. I'd like to see if we can get a list of everybody's name. If somebody would volunteer to help moderate this, that would be awesome. And,
did you want that from the chat, Lillian?
Oh, Terry, I can't hear you.
Did you want that recorded from the chat, the information?
Oh, I don't have sound for you, Terry.
Oh, that's weird. Because
I need to change. Do you need to change maybe something on your audio settings?
I can hear her. Do you hear me, Lillian?
Because you're not muted, but we can't.
I can hear you, Claudia.
I can hear you too. I think
Let me
she
see what
cannot
it says in
hear
the
us.
chat.
I can hear you as well.
Yes.
I can't hear Claudia either. Let's see. Yeah, Claudia, I can't hear you either. And Terry, even though you're unmuted. Oh, speak again.
Hello.
Now I can hear you. Okay, it was OE, it was operator error on my end. I took the sound down for the music, it took down the sound for everything, so I apologize for that.
So I was asking if you wanted it recorded from the chat, people's location and names, because you can record, you can
download.
You can print that, you can download it at the end of the session.
Yeah, that's, if, you know what, I'm going to try and do that at the end of the session. I didn't do it with the last one, but I think you're right. I think there's a way of downloading the
Mhm.
actual chat. It's not on the recording, but I think you can load that as a separate file. So I think that would be helpful. So we've got Terry, Claudia, David so far. And Sean's also with us. Hi, Sean. I know you're from Florida. We've got Haiti Stampton is joining us right now. Haiti. All right, Haiti. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me? It's Haiti here.
It's Haiti, yes. Okay, yeah. Welcome to the group, to the experiment here. Nice. Heart-made experiment. I gotta move this just a tad so you can read the whole thing. There you go. A little awkward, but we'll figure it out. So we've got, it's about 7 minutes past the hour. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including myself. There's 6 of us. It'd be nice if we can get at least 4 more participants so that we have at least the even 10. We have a lot of other people who also watched the recording on Friday, and some of them, because of the time difference, you know, they're either in the Netherlands or Australia. It's like 3, 4 in the morning for them. So they're going to participate every Monday, but they're going to watch the recording and then report back to us. And so I'll probably create a list of those people so that we know what the total number of participants are that are going to be participating every Monday. So this is our first official launch this Monday. And I'm going to just do a quick little recap of what we agreed and what we talked about on Friday, and what the nature of the experiment is, which is a 90-day period that started on Friday. And we're meeting every Monday at 7 p.m. We're going to have a session where we are going to have a meditation. And we are setting, of course, we're continuing the intention of attracting our heart mate. And we're actually doing certain things that are using our consciousness in order to do that. And so this is the 90-day heart mate consciousness experiment. We agreed to watch, everyone who's on this broadcast right now, we all watched the Superhuman, the Invisible Made Visible film. We're going to watch a little clip tonight that is going to tie into what we're doing. And of course, it's part of the theme of the entire 90-day period of consciousness. So I want to thank everybody for watching that, because I think that creates a nice framework for us to set our intention. We've all committed to weekly attending these Zooms. We got another person, Robert Snyder, here is joining us. Okay, Robert, in a minute, Robert's going to be able to hear. And thank you for joining us, Robert. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you type in the chat below. You type in your full name, the city, state, and country that you are participating from. We do have people from Canada, from Australia, from India, from the Czech Republic. Let me see. Yeah, India, Czech Republic, Australia, Brazil, Canada, and the US so far that are participating in this. Okay. So I was just going over what we agreed to, which we agreed to watch the Superhuman movie. So everyone who's on here has watched the Superhuman, the Invisible Made Visible film. And that was actually the inspiration for doing this experiment, along with Dr. Joe's work. So that creates a nice frame and a reference point for us to move forward with this experiment. The second thing is we all agreed to commit to this weekly Zoom call every Monday night, 7 p.m. The Zoom call will recap some of the things that we're doing. Every week's going to build a little bit more on the next week. So we're adding a new thing today, and I'll get into that in just a minute, but it'll make sense as we progress. Each week we will also be doing the Go Love 20 love meditation that Dr. Joe did. It's about a 15-minute love meditation, which works perfectly hand in hand for this particular experiment. Okay, so we're committing to our weekly goals. We're also committing to daily talking to our heart mate. and feel the love and gratitude physically in your heart space, which is your fourth energy center. So one thing is to visualize it, think about it, imagine it. For those people who say that they feel that it's hard for them to imagine or to visualize, then just play, pretend, make believe. You're just making believe that you're talking to your heartmate in your mind, and then you're actually going to speak out loud and feel the elevated emotion of love, gratitude, and appreciation. Because as we all know, Dr. Joe talks about quite a bit how we have to have a clear intention with an elevated emotion. So an inward intention, to have a clear inward intention is to have a clear inward focused attention. That's what an intention is, a clear inward focused attention. And now you add it with an elevated emotion. And as you feel the elevated emotion of love, we all know what the feeling of love feels like. We know what it's like to feel gratitude and appreciation. Like right now, I'm feeling very grateful and appreciative that you have all chosen, you have self-selected yourself to be a participant to this experiment. So this is all a really wonderful thing. So the next thing is we've agreed to visualize telling your best friend, we're mind mapping what we want in the future. We're trying to pull it into the present. So we are making believe, we are visualizing us talking to our best friend over the phone and saying, I'm so in love. I feel so in love. I'm so happy and so excited now that I have met my beautiful, wonderful heartmate, my wonderful person. You know, it's taken me a lifetime to come into meeting them. And I'm so grateful that they're now here in my experience. I'm so grateful to their parents for having raised them to the point where now I come to have a relationship with them, and I have them in such high regard. I appreciate them. I hold them in high value because I know what it's like to not have them in my life. And so the fact that I have them now in my life, and bear in mind, you're talking as if they're in the now and that you already met them, because your brain doesn't know any different. And so you're in that conscious place where you are visualizing it, you're imagining it, you're playing, pretending, making believe. And as you do it with your eyes closed and you do it with your eyes opened, you also speak it. There's a lot of the ancient scriptures talks about speaking things into reality, creating with the words that you speak. And so your body is actually feeling the vibration of your voice, saying, I'm so happy and excited now that I have my heartmate. I love this sensation of love in my heart. My heart just feels wide open. I feel like I have so much love to give and to receive. I'm in this very whole and complete place where I'm just overjoyed at this state of being. And this is a wonderful place to be in. So we talked about visualizing, you're saying you're so in love, you're making believe you're talking to your best friend. The next thing is you're telling them about how grateful you feel. The other thing about vocalizing, it's a declaration, it's an invocation, is also that your ears are hearing. So what we're doing is we're using multiple neurosomatic sensory systems of the body. So as we imagine it, you've got your consciousness, of course, you're seeing it with your mind's eye, but then you're hearing it as you vocalize it. You feel the vibration, you're actually saying it with your mouth. The 50 trillion cells of your body are acknowledging and experiencing what you are visualizing, saying, and imagining. And so that's why it's important to say this, because also your ears are also going to hear this. And so it's part of this consciousness experiment where we're using more than one sense. It's a multisensory consciousness experiment. Does that make sense? I want you all to chat in the chat box there. Yes, I understand. Yes, I agree. Just chat in there. It's part of the kinesthetic interaction of you actually typing in helps you embody this, remember this, understand it, and know it. And so that you recognize and realize it at a deeper level, not just consciously, but also subconsciously. Okay. So the next thing is, I'm going to leave this here for a little bit later. The next thing I want to do is I want to show you a clip from the Superhuman film that we already watched to recap. Let's see here. How come I already picked it out? I think it's going to be here. Okay. So we are going to We're going to watch just a few minutes of this.
If we are able to measure the physiological effects of consciousness on the body, then we could also potentially influence a biological system, water, or even our own DNA. For the past 25 years, Dr. Glenn Ryan has pursued a career in DNA research, neuroscience, and quantum biology at prestigious institutions such as Harvard and Stanford medical schools.
I thought that we should talk about pH because a lot of people understand that higher pH in water is better for health. And so I thought this experiment may be very useful.
The body needs to be at a very central pH, around 7.2. And if it's too high or too low, we get into trouble.
Can you explain how this instrument works?
pH is a measure of the amount of hydrogen in the water. And there's a special probe that's sensitive to hydrogen, and then they convert it to electrical signal, and you get a number. On 5 separate occasions, I measured the pH over a course of an hour. And it doesn't change more than the very last segment. That's 1/100th of a unit, a pH unit. If you can change 1/10 of a unit, that would be a very profound change.
So the idea is for me to affect the water and then either up or down, and then we will get an instant reading.
We will see it in real time. I'll be right back.
Okay, great. Let me see what I can do.
My intent was to lower the pH in the water. I visualized that my mind was connected to the hydrogen molecules in the water and getting them to multiply. More hydrogen molecules means a lower pH.
So we've started at 757,
757.
and I dropped it to 747.
That's a whole unit. That's a large effect. The fact that you can change this particular parameter, the acid-alkaline balance in water, implies that you could change it in the body. The body has this amazing intelligence. It knows what it needs. So the fact that you can create an environment with your consciousness and your thoughts and your intention that pH can change at all would allow the body to change the pH in the appropriate direction that it needs. The dogma is you can't change your body chemistry by thinking about it. But the implication is that the intention and the imagery that you use can be used to change your own internal pH. And yes, just let your body do what it knows is the optimal direction and magnitude for change.
Okay. So this is setting up the perfect segue for what we're going to be doing next that we're adding to our consciousness experiment. And so next I want to share with you the work of Dr. Emoto, who is now has passed, but he is absolutely legendary and groundbreaking work in terms of his messages with water. So I'm just going to show you briefly.
In the molecular structure of water and what affects it. Now, water is the most receptive of the 4 elements. Mr. Emoto thought perhaps it would respond to non-physical events. So he set up a series of studies, applied mental stimuli, and photographed it with a dark field microscope. This first picture is a picture of water from the Fujiwara Dam. And this picture is the same water after receiving a blessing from a Zen Buddhist monk. Now, in this next series of pictures, Mr. Emoto printed out words, taped them to bottles of distilled water, and left them out overnight. This first photograph is a picture of the pure distilled water, just the essence of itself. These subsequent photographs, as you can see, are each different. This is the Chi of love. And we move along here to thank you. And you can see where he taped that to this bottle here. But if you read Japanese, you already knew that. Now, Mr. Emoto speaks of the thought or intent being the driving force in all of this. The science of how that actually affects the molecules is unknown, except to the water molecules, of course. And it's really fascinating when you keep in mind that 90% of our bodies are water.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? If thoughts could do that to water, imagine what our thoughts can do to us.
When the dogwood fell before me, and all the paths were overgrown, when the breeze of pride said there is no other way, I tilled the sorrows of stone. I did not believe because I could not see, though you came to me in the night. When the dawn seemed forever lost, you showed me your love in the light of the stars. Cast your eyes on the ocean, cast your soul to the sea, where my dark night seems endless. Please remember me. When the mountain rose before me, but a deep well of desire, from the fountain of forgiveness, beyond the ice and the fire. Cast your eyes on the ocean, cast your soul to the sea, when the dark night seems endless, please remember me. We share this humble path alone. How fragile is the heart. Oh, give these clay feet wings to fly, to touch the face of the stars. Breathe life into this feeble heart. Lift this mortal veil of fear. Take these crumbled hopes, ash with tears, will rise above these earthly cares.
There are experiments to show how water does not respond the same way to every person who approaches.
Sorry about that. That was not supposed to turn on. Okay, so the next step that we are going to be adding is we are going to be programming water. So I would imagine that most of you, I'm going to assume that most of you have not programmed water. This is not something that's difficult to do. As you saw from Dr. Emoto's experiments, all that is required is that you put your consciousness on the water, and that when you put your consciousness on the water in the form of a thought, in his particular experiment, he actually did thoughts, he did a written word, and he did a spoken word, and he had the same results whether it was thought, spoken, or written. And so you can do all three or do one. I myself have been programming water. I've been programming water actually for years now. And I use it for all sorts of things, not just for my own personal use, but I also have used it with clients and have helped recover their memory from programming water. And so we're going to use it in this 90-day HeartMate experiment to put the intention of love into the water, and that the water is going to go out into the ethers and attract that HeartMate as well. So it should be done. This is one of the key things when you program water. It's always best to do it in a glass container. You can, and I have programmed water before in plastic containers. However, I know that your results will be better and more compounded if you do it in a glass container. So it doesn't have to be a glass like this. Two examples of water bottles that I use, that I program my water every day. All you're going to do to program your water is you are going to all we are going to do is hold the water in our hands. One of the things that you need to be aware of is that aside from your 8 energy centers, starting at the base of your spine, going up to your 8th energy center that Dr. Joe talks about, but we also have energy centers on each palm of the hand, as well as our eyes. So as long as you're holding the water, the water in a glass bottle, you're going to just set the intention, and you just are going to bless it. Think about the love that's coming from your heart. You can project the love from your heart onto the water. If you want to project receiving love from the sun, and it's coming through your body and out your heart, through your hands and your heart onto the water, you're just blessing the water with love and with the intention that love is radiating and that it's being magnetized to draw you your HeartMate. And that's all. It's very simple. You can't mess it up, because just by your putting your consciousness on it, it's automatically programmed. And just pay attention to your inner, when you feel on the inside of your body, or if your mind or your body says that's done, then that's done. It doesn't have to take 5 or 10 minutes. It can take 30 seconds. It could take a minute. I don't want to set a time limit. It's not going to take 2 seconds, but it will take, I would say it's going to take at least 20, 30 seconds or more. And just trust yourself. Just know that as you set that intention and as you bless it, and you can bless it out loud with spoken words, it doesn't just have to be in thought form. So you can think it, you can speak it, and you may even want to write on your, if you want to etch it, or if you want to take a marker and just write love on your water bottle, so that you know that this is your 90-day HeartMate water that you've programmed. And you're going to drink this water. First thing you get when you first wake up in the morning, you're going to take a swig and you're going to drink that water. As you finish the water throughout the day, then every night you're going to replenish it. You're going to reprogram it, rebless it. And every 24 hours, you're going to drink at least 1 water bottle of programmed water. Is this clear to everybody? Does anybody have any questions about this? Or I want to make sure that I explained it as clearly as possible. No questions? Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do the Go Love 20 meditation. We're going to listen to Dr. Joe's explanation of the Go Love 20 meditation. As you know, this is a meditation that he came out with last April. And the intention of this particular Go Love 20 was you could, we did it with a lot of strangers, and then we did it with a lot of people that we knew. But the intention was to have the love virus instead of the fear virus, for it to go viral. And so that love would spread throughout the planet. Because of everything that's been going on, we want to override that lower vibrational frequency of fear and illness and everything else that's in that low 100 hertz. If you look at the Hawkins scale, those are things that are resonating at 100, which is fear, or shame, resentment, frustration, guilt, all the negative, including illnesses and so forth. Love, of course, is at a vibration, according to the Hawkins scale, of 528 hertz. So he is going to explain how we're doing the Go Love 20. We're going to follow the instructions, but we're going to modify it with the intention of sending this out to our heartmate. And there's 7 billion people on the planet. We know that this person exists already. Now it's just a matter of attracting them into our experience, and they're going to be a high vibrational, the highest vibrational heartmate that is possible for you as you move forward in this journey that we're calling life. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to Dr. Joe here.
Hi everybody, Dr. Joe here. I just wanted to take a moment and let you know about an initiative that we started to spread love called Go Love 20. And we started this initiative just this weekend, and in just a few days it has spread like wildfire to over 30,000 people with the idea of spreading love amongst our community. Well, now we feel like it's time to take it out into the world, and it's just a really simple process. Think of someone that you love and you care about. It could be your mother, your father, it could be a sibling, it could be your children, or it could be someone that you work with. And take a moment and really think about what you love about them. And what we found works the best is if you just begin to write a text or send an email or do an audio recording or a video recording telling them what you love about them. And the feedback that we've got when people start to express love is that it starts to open their heart. So once you find someone that you care about and you send some message to them expressing your love for them, the next step is to do a simple 15-minute meditation. And when you love someone and you express love for them, you really are expressing that love with the intention for them to feel the love that you're feeling. And so typically we normally give to people that we love, but because we are limited by space and time, we're asking you to take them into your heart and feel the love that you feel for them. And our research shows that when people are truly in their hearts, that the love that they feel begins to influence people non-locally, that when they feel love and their heart begins to beat in a more rhythmic and coherent fashion, we've seen people at a distance begin to experience that same type of heart pattern. They begin to feel love. So it transcends space and time, and all you have to do is open your heart and have the intention to hold the image of that person with the understanding that you want them to feel the love that you feel. We also know that our research shows that when you truly open your heart, just for 15 to 20 minutes a day, for 3 or 4 days, that you'll strengthen your immune system by 50%. That love tends to bond and it connects. And we want to create a community of people that are connected by the frequency, by the energy of love. And so it's not difficult. You can do 1 a day. If you feel inclined and you want to do more, you're free to do as many as you like, but we want you to stay in love. When you love others, you love yourself. In fact, you can't love another person without you being in love. So Go Love 20.
So I'm going to go ahead and put this in our chat so that you guys all have it handy. In today's recording, when this video is done, it'll also be in the first comments pinned to the top of the video so that you have it handy. If you still find that you want to find not only the explanation, but also the Go Love 20 meditation, you can always go to the playlists in the Love and Money Secrets TV channel. You'll see it'll be right there, the Go Love 20, and it's available. We have them saved in every language that we know of that's available to date. So let me go. I'm going to do a stop screen share for just a second, just enough to put in the chat. Okay, and so the one modification that we're going to make to this is that, as you know, Dr. Joe said that you're going to send a text message, an email, or a video to that person that you've targeted. So in this particular case, because we don't have someone targeted, we have the energy of that heartmate that we know that exists somewhere on the planet. So what I'm going to suggest that we all do is that we text. You can text yourself, or you can text, you know, if you go into your cell phone, you can just text yourself and it'll come back to you. So you're just going to make believe that you're texting your heartmate and you're just going to let them know what it is that you love about them. And so you'll just text them a brief message, letting them know, I'm thinking about you at this moment in time. And what I love about you is, you tell them what it is that you love about them. And then let them know that you're so happy and excited because now you're setting time aside, 15 minutes to do this Go Love meditation, and they are at the center of your attention and intention. And then that's it. So you're going to send the text off. That's done. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to do the Go Love meditation. So we're going to go ahead and start the Go Love meditation right now. Let's share the screen again. Okay. Okay, so this meditation is 15, almost 16 minutes long, so we're just going to go ahead and start it now.
Eyes closed. Take a breath. For love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. Into your heart. Feel it. Notice it. Your heart. And breathe a little love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. Into your heart. And breathe in for love. To your heart. And exhale. And relax. And let a little more love to your heart. Breathe for love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. And let love into your heart. and let the thought of someone you love bring up the feeling of love. In your heart. Feel it. Hold them in that feeling. In your heart. Hold them in your heart. Feel it. Now put their heart in your heart. And feel your love for them. In your heart. That's your love. You're giving them. In their heart. Feel it. That's energy. In your heart. That's energy in their heart. That's your energy. In their heart. That's love. Your love. In their heart. That's love. In your heart. Feel it. Experience it. Enjoy it. That's the love you want them to feel. In their heart. Feel it. In your heart. Feel your connection to them. in your heart. One heart. That's love in one heart. Feel it. And become one. In your heart. That's love. Your love. For their heart. That's your love. In your heart. Feel it. In your heart. That's energy. In your heart. That's a little more oneness. In your heart. That's your connection. To love. In your heart. That's the feeling. You want people you love to feel in their heart. And remember, this feeling know it by heart. That's life. heart. Who do you want to be? When you open your eyes, in your heart, feel it. Your heart. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And come back to the realm of space and time. Remember, there's love in your heart.
Okay. Does anyone want to share perhaps maybe something they may have seen, felt, or heard, or sensed during this meditation?
Yeah, I saw the image of a man picking up like an oil lantern off the floor, which makes no sense to me, but I'm going to keep a journal of this. And when he shows up, look through what, yeah.
So Terry, that is, I got the that gut feeling, kind of like goosebumps when you said that. So that is phenomenal. And I would encourage all of you to have a composition notebook where you write down as you have things happen every day.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can report them back when we come together next Monday. And I think one of the things that we're all going to see, I know that we're all going to start to see different synchronicities, symbols, signs. It's just the nature of consciousness, because we're putting focus and attention on this, and we're putting a fair amount of energy on this. It's inevitable that we're going to see signs, symbols, and synchronicity. So I think it'll be very encouraging for us to be able to share those things and report back every week as we do this, not only during this live Zoom session, but as we accumulate them through the week. It'll be fun to go back and say, oh my gosh, well, just looking over my notes here during this call, these are the different things that happened to me. You guys may also start to have very interesting lucid dreams, dreams where you feel that you're actually going to a different dimension or astral projecting to different places. You may not necessarily know where you're going, because oftentimes in meditation, we know we go somewhere. We don't usually know where, but every now and then, sometimes it's revealed to us, or there are little hints. It really doesn't matter. The most important thing is that we're open to this experience. And this 90-day HeartMate consciousness experiment, one of the things that's inherent to it is that not only does it encourage our hearts to be open, but it also encourages our hearts to continue to expand and to grow. part of you're going to be, like I said, we're going to be programming water. And so you're going to feel the sensation of the water going through your body, and it's permeating. You're aware that it's permeating all 50 trillion cells, your 140,000 chemicals that your autonomic nervous system creates, proteins to upregulate and downregulate your DNA. It's all being affected by this. Because we're programming water and we're also doing this consciousness experiment, our bodies are actually getting into a more optimized state of being in a proper pH level as well. We're not going to be testing that per se. There is a way to test for that, but I don't want to go down too far down the rabbit hole. The objective of this, most importantly, is that at the end of 90 days, that the majority of us, if not all of us, my intention has been put forth that all of us will have some sort of experience where we will come in contact and we will start to at least identify who this heartmate person is. We will effectively attract them into our experience. And so that is the objective. That's why we're all here. Is there anything else that you wanted to share, Terry?
Well, it was watching that Superhuman movie that helped me be in the consciousness of even seeing if I could view something in my meditation.
Yeah. The one of the reasons why I thought it was so important to have everyone watch the Superhuman, The Invisible Made Visible, is because I watched the film 2-3 times, and I'll probably watch it several times throughout. I'll probably watch it every week during this 90 days, because there are things that you don't catch the first time that you watch it, and then you catch it the second time. And one of the things that Caroline, the gal who is the producer and the host of the film, is she talks about how when she was affecting the pH of the water, when she was also moving the dial, she talked about how she visualized in her mind and how she used her consciousness to visualize certain things and how she projected energy. She talks about turning on a switch. The children also talked about turning on the switch. And so I don't want to get overly into, I'm not into micromanaging, but I think that as you guys all take personal responsibility for this experiment and make it your own, there are things that it's going to occur to you to do in your imagination, in your consciousness, in your visualization. This is your part of the experiment. So as you embrace this more, and make no mistakes, this is a fun experiment. There are, it's cool to have experiences like this where you see, you hear, you visualize, you smell. You don't be surprised if you all of a sudden you smell a fragrance when you're doing this Go Love 20 meditation on your own. Don't be surprised if you smell like the aroma of a rose, or some or other type of flower, jasmine or gardenia, flowers that have very distinct aromas, or even the aroma of a perfume that you might be familiar with, or a cologne, or even the smell of smoke. I've had experiences where in meditation, I didn't see smoke in the meditation, but I all of a sudden smelled smoke. Now, I know now from having done so many of these meditations, I know that all the things that you sense, whether you see it, you hear it, you smell it, I've even had tastes. I had a lot of really medicine-y tastes, and I don't take any medications. I don't take Tylenol. I don't take over-the-counter drugs. I take vitamins, but I don't take any kind of medicines. So I had very strong medicine-like tastes when I was in Cancun during my first 7-day advance event with Dr. Joe. And it was very, very pronounced, and it was like in the postnasal drip area of my body. And so I mentioned it to Jace, Dr. Joe's son, because he was my team leader. And I said, this is kind of strange. And all the years that I've meditated, I've never had such a very strong medicine-y taste. And so I never really found out what that particular, because it's a very distinct taste and it tastes the same way each time I've had it. So all I could finally surmise was that for me, there were obviously adjustments that were being made into my body, and that's how it was expressing it. And so it was a sign of a biological upgrade, which Dr. Joe talks about. So you're not going to have the answers to all these things. Some of the things, as we discuss them here, some of them you may have an aha during one of these sessions. Somebody may have a word of knowledge, because we are, by our just being focused during this, during these weekly meetings, we're kind of in a heightened state of awareness because we are focused on this. And we do have a physical, an emotional, a spiritual, and a psychological, as well as an energy investment in this. Otherwise, we wouldn't be putting this type of time and effort into it. So there are things that, we have a heightened sense of awareness right now during this broadcast. So things are going to be called to our attention that maybe otherwise would not be. And I may have a message for you, you may have a message for me, we may have a message for everyone or for someone specific. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that as we continue with an open heart, and as our heart expands and continues to grow, as we know from what we've learned from what we've read in Becoming Supernatural with Dr. Joe and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and You Are the Placebo, is that your electromagnetic field continues to expand. It can go up to 9 meters in either direction, which is a very large magnetic field. I actually had my magnetic field years ago. I had a gal who actually could measure the magnetic field, and I wish I should have learned how to do it. I don't know how to do it, but it's amazing how, as you do the meditations and as you expand your consciousness, instead of having a more, people who don't meditate at all, your electromagnetic field is very close to your body. But as you continue to do these meditations, as you do these consciousness experiments, your electromagnetic field can go outside of your house. It's not limited to just, 9 meters, right? So again, I let you guys know this so that you can play with it. You can choose, as you're doing your talking to your heartmate and visualizing them, feeling them, and then talking to your friend, you can feel the electromagnetic field of your heart and of the love that you have inside of you fill up the entire room that you're in. Make no mistakes, that affects you, it affects anyone that comes into that room. It affects your entire house, the entire building, including the land going down to the core of the earth, because we're, as human beings, the largest magnet and source of energy that we have is the earth, and it's below our feet. So don't be surprised if you have flowers in your midst that are either cut freshly or perhaps that are planted, and you start to see them maybe bloom a little bit more, because that love energy that you're emanating, it's not only bringing your heartmate, but it's affecting everything around you, including the living plants and freshly cut flowers. So with that being said, I also want to let you know that if you want to kind of play with the programming water, if you have other people that live with you at home, or you have roommates, friends, family, or anything like that live with you at home, you might want to play, and just test. And I actually have done this myself with friends, with not only with water, but also with wine. And I first had a friend of mine who's a physicist. She's a physicist. She has like 2-3 PhDs and medical degree as well, and Dr. Sandra. And I'll never forget the first time when we were at some restaurant in LA, and she took a glass of wine and she said, "Would you like me to charge your wine?" And I said, "Would you please?" And she says, "Well, go ahead and taste it before I charge it, and then I'll charge it, and then you'll see the difference." So I said, sure. And I thought, I think I have a pretty good palate, but I don't know if my palate will be refined enough to tell the difference. So I took a taste of the wine, and it was a red wine, of course. And then she held the wine in her hands, and then she charged it, and then she gave it back to me. And then I was really surprised how much smoother and how much richer the wine was after she charged it. And so I thought, well, now, after having experienced that, I can't imagine not ever, charging my wine whenever I serve it at home, because you want to have, the best flavor possible. So you may want to try that at home. Try charging water and giving somebody the water before and then having them taste after. They may or may not. I'm not saying 100% that they're going to be able to tell the difference, but some people can and others can't. But it's just, nothing to lose and everything to gain. The reality is that we know that at a molecular level, if you do nothing to the water is it just is. But by your putting your intention on the water, you're blessing the water with your thought as well as your spoken word. And if you want to take it a step more and then also put, actually written, whether you do it with a marker, like a Sharpie pen, or in my case, I have an etching. I don't know if you could see, but for my heartmate, I put the symbol of a heart. Can you see that in the camera?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see I have a heart, and then inside the heart, I put the infinity symbol because I want it to be an infinite love. I don't want it, just for 5 or 10 years. I want, my heartmate to be my forever person until both of us, leave this planet. So, and then I actually have the word etched. You can see the word love etched there. Can you see that? Love.
Mm-hmm.
So does anybody else have any questions? Or Terry, if you have anything else to comment? Rob, I noticed that you're unmuted as well.
Yeah, I had a very lush experience during the meditation. I had sensations of feel, touch, smell, not so much taste. I didn't concentrate on that, or I didn't kind of focus on that, but all the others, hearing, talking, and cuddling with someone.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that you had a very profound multisensory experience.
I did. It was really lush. It was really good. And I usually do with the Go Loves. The Go Loves just really send me into a real attenuated love kind of space. I just get bouncing around all over with that.
Oh, that is wonderful. So I am going to encourage you to milk that feeling. Bring that memory up tonight before you go to sleep when you're talking to your heartmate. Say, listen, today I'm so excited to be with you. I just love holding you and cuddling you and smelling you and hearing you, and the vibration of your voice and your vibrato. It's just music to my ears, and just milk that feeling. Because that is, again, part of magnetizing, it's the clear intention with the elevated emotion.
Right.
And so as you're integrating all those senses, then it's just going to happen faster. So I'm going to tell you guys now, because several years ago, I actually did this as a personal experiment just by myself, not with a group. This time, of course, we're doing it as a group. But I did it kind of more just on my own, playfully. And every time I would get into my car, I would make believe that my heartmate, was sitting next to me. And I got to tell you, in less than 90 days, for some reason, I thought it was going to take, I don't know why I thought it was going to take 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But I was just playing. And less than 3 months, much to my surprise, and then I had all this flurry of all these signs, symbols, synchronicity, crazy things that started to happen. And so I did have, a boyfriend that manifested, and then we were together for about 2.5 years. And then, that was a relationship that was supposed to be just for a season. I learned what I was supposed to learn from that. And now here we are again. And now we're doing it in a more of a group experiment. So I actually know that this works because I've done it, like I said, just on a personal level. So I think it'll be really exciting for us to continue moving forward as a group, and then just monitoring the results that we have. So I'm very excited that you had that multi-sensory experience, and Terry, that you saw what you saw. That I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to see that lantern someplace else moving forward, because that's usually how this stuff kind of works. So.
And on the topic of infusing the water with vibration, I have a friend here on the island that created a company called Blue Water Love, and she etches words into blue bottles, and you charge it outside in the sun. I don't know if anybody's heard of that before. It's pretty cool. I brought it up on my iPhone. I don't know. Oh, maybe you can't see that because I have, let me see. If I can stop this, none. Which way there? That's just a sample of some of them.
That's so pretty.
Yeah, it's called Blue Bottle Love, but you can get any word you want etched on it. So it's really cool.
Oh, I like that. Well, maybe if you get a chance, maybe next Monday you can get the link and you can share it with us here in the chat.
Okay, sure.
Anyone who might be interested. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the one I drink out of says gratitude on it.
Yeah, so those are the 3 words: gratitude. It's like love, gratitude, and appreciation. Those are the 3 elevated emotions that are the key emotions to feel. So yeah, as long as you have gratitude, love, appreciate, all 3, 1, or any combination, that's all over 500 hertz frequency. So that's awesome. I was going to suggest also, for those of you who have either a Sprouts or a Whole Foods by you, they have, I'm not trying to promote Italian sodas, let's just make that clear, but that's what this is. I buy Italian sodas. I don't buy a lot of sodas, but I do buy, when I buy Italian sodas from Sprouts usually. And so after we're done with the soda, then I keep the bottles. And so throughout my house, you'll see pretty much all the bedrooms have these water bottles, and I keep a couple in my room because I charge them. You know, I know that you have to drink a certain amount of water every day, and I'm always setting my intentions and charging them. So if you want to get a free water bottle, you can just get an Italian soda at Sprouts. They're like $2-3 a bottle, and then you can keep the glass bottle, and then you can etch it any way you want. You'll see this one. I don't know if you can tell. I also have this one etched. It's kind of hard to see, I think. Yeah, this one, it's not as easy to see, probably because it's there you can see, I think maybe. You can see the 8 and the heart and the little Star of David at the bottom. So, okay. Does anybody else have anything else to share? Or any questions, comments, concerns? Just now would be the time to say something if there's something you want to say. I think we've all said what we need to say. So I want to thank you for participating. This is our first official week. And so we'll have an entire 7 days from today till next Monday. Next Monday, the 7th, this video, as soon as we're done, it'll automatically be live on YouTube. So if you want to rewatch it, you can rewatch it. For those that are in the Dr. Joe dating group who said that they were going to watch it, they can pick it up there. And I guess that's it. In the comments, like I said before, I'll have the introduction and the Go Love 20 meditation so that you can just go back there and just click on that link. It's just easy peasy for you to find it. And I think that's basically it. I just want to thank you all for participating and look forward to seeing you in 7 days.
Thank you, Lillian.
All righty.
Thanks.
Thanks, Robert. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, David. Thank you, Claudia. And thank you,
Thank you, Lillian.
My friends and gems. Ciao for now to all of you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Thank you, Claudia.